So congratulations, your business is doing well, you're overwhelmed, and now you're starting to think about what should be my first hire? What should be my first leverage point so I can start to build my real estate empire? I'm gonna go through all of that today. I'm gonna take you through, should you hire a executive assistant, a showing assistant, an ISA? Who should come first? What's the best? I can tell you from doing this for 20 years, selling over $1 billion of residential real estate, coaching agents all across the country, and masterminding with some of the greatest agents on the planet, there is a model that works, that's tried and true, that you're going to want to follow. And I see people mess this up all the time. So make sure you stick around at the end. I'm going to really try to put a bow on this to make sure that you don't maybe make some mistakes that I've seen so many other people make. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you can get all of our latest videos. My name is Brendan Bartic with Brendan Bartic Real Estate Coaching, where our mission is to train the most elite real estate agents and coaches on earth. Let's go ahead and jump on in. You're doing good business, or you're really busy and you're thinking, I need more help. Who should I hire first? So from looking at this all across the country, by far, the biggest challenge I see is, when can I afford to do this? So if you're thinking about when I can afford to do it, then what we're thinking about is as soon as possible. As soon as you can add leverage, you're going to want to add leverage so that you can grow. And I see agents that have stayed as single agents for 20 years and they enjoy that, or so they say they do, but they don't have a business, because what happens in that situation is they get sick, they don't sell, they don't make money. They go on a 6-month vacation, they don't sell, they don't make money. Whoever you are, you want to start to grow a real estate business, or you're always going to be trapped in this cycle. So let's talk about that first hire. The first point of contact when you can do it as soon as you can afford it. That's fine, I guess. My recommendation is anywhere from 15 to 20 deals is when you want to insert that first piece of leverage. So when you're at 15 to 20 transactions, now price point would matter, of course, and certain variables, but that's when you're doing, and when I mean 15 to 20 a year, not 15 to 20 in 4 years. You're like, I finally made it to 15 deals, I'm hiring an assistant. No, when you're doing that in a 1-year cycle. So if you do that your first year in real estate, you hit 15 deals, you're probably at that point where you're cranking it, your business is going solid enough, it's time to get some help. A lot of times people go, well, Brendan, should I get a transaction coordinator? Should I get a this or that? First of all, everyone on earth should be using a transaction coordinator on your first deal. I mean, it makes no sense why agents aren't doing this. You're talking $300 to $500 for someone to help process your deal, take it from start to finish. And I hear agents all the time, they go, well, I'm a control freak, I want to handle it myself. Or here's my favorite, I'm just really good at processing a file. What? You don't get paid for processing a file. That doesn't even make any sense. If you want to process files, go be an administrative assistant. Go be a transaction coordinator. Don't be a real estate agent, right? Come on. The first hire that you have to have has got to be your executive assistant. You're not hiring a TC, you're contracting a transaction coordinator to help you process files. The first hire that you're going to make is your executive assistant, and your executive assistant is going to, by far and away, hopefully be somebody that stays with you for years and years to come and ends up being your director of operations, your CFO, your CEO. Who knows one day? But they're going to be taking care of a lot of these things. So here's the other pro tip I want to tell you when you're hiring your executive assistant. You've got to think about everything that they need to be doing so that you can be freed up to do more lead generation and more client interfacing. What I do see people screw up all the time is they hire an assistant and go, I want you to make my business better. The assistant's like, you want me to what and how? They don't have any freaking clue what they're supposed to do. They don't know. There wasn't this magical 10th grade course that said, here's how to be an executive assistant. So you have to take some time to prepare this. Figure out all the things that you need them to do. Number one, critical for me, CMAs. People go, what do you mean CMAs? My executive assistant's real goal for me is to produce as many successful listing presentations. And when I mean presentation, we have our listing mastery course, our CMA mastery course. I'm talking my entire package from CMA to contract to sample marketing to everything that goes into our packet so that All I need to do, and this is what my executive assistant did for years, they would drop off my packets to my house or have them available for me to swing by the office and grab them so I could go on all of my listing appointments for that week or the next day or whatever the rotation was. This is where people don't understand is how can you have your assistant do an executive assistant do a CMA for you? Train them to do a CMA. It's not brain surgery. They're not landing a space shuttle. It's a comparative market analysis. I have them do one after another after another. I always review it, of course, before I go in front of a client. I always give them some feedback at times. I don't want to be doing CMAs. A CMA can take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. I don't want to be producing a listing appointment. I want to leverage that to someone so I can keep myself on the phone, creating more business so I have more appointments. Think about it. You can train and teach somebody to do anything on this planet. Someone taught somebody how to do brain surgery. They do it every day. It's happening right now. You don't think you can teach somebody how to do a CMA? That's the huge one. CMA frees up my time. Listing presentations free up my time. They also train them to do all of my buyer consultation setups and all my showings if I'm doing showings and I'm working with buyers, right? If this is the beginning, you're doing kind of both or 70% listings, 30% buyers, whatever it is. So how they set up all my showings. And that's going to be tricky. They have to figure out timing and looking at all this, but it can be taught, right? So they're taking care of all of these things for me. I'm still keeping my transaction manager. I'm still paying them $350 and I have an executive assistant. I'm not having my executive assistant do TC work. That would not make any sense. So now I have my executive assistant. They're doing the things that are freeing me up. Now, I also want their help with my calendar, helping me schedule things, events, client interfacing time, giveaways, our 10/25/90, right? So every 10th of the month, we're doing our client giveaway. Every 25th, I'm doing a business spotlight. Every 90 days, I'm doing a client appreciation event. They're helping me coordinate all of these things. It's fantastic. They're helping me all the time make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do to make sure that I can stay on the phone or in front of clients. So make sure you have a clear understanding of what that list is. I hear people say all the time, I want them to do marketing for me. Define it. Does that mean your 33 touch, right? What we use all the time, our 33 touch system, 12 direct mailers, 12 digital market reports, 4 phone calls, making me do the phone calls, 5 personal touches every year. That's a 33 touch. Are they helping you with your farm and making sure that your EDDM mail service is going out and they've got all that scheduled? Like next piece of that, they should be having a very detailed, here's a scary word, schedule. They have to know a schedule. If you come in every day and just start yelling at them because you asked them to do, this is another thing that I see people screw up all the time. You just start yelling at them to do random stuff every day, day after day, and you don't have a rhythm or what we call a cadence of success, a rhythm of scheduling and calmness. You have to stop reacting and start being proactive so things can become easier, smarter, more efficient. So think about that. Your executive assistant is amazing. Now, when we're talking about pay structures for executive assistant, I've seen everything. What I see that works the best is a base salary plus a bonus structure, and that bonus structure has to be tied in to the key drivers of what you're wanting to have happen with your company. Here's what I hear all the time. I give her $100 for every closing. I give him $75 for every time we have a closing. Okay, you could do that. Do they have any control over how many closings you have? They don't. You're thinking to yourself right now, well, if they work really hard, we have to have more closings. No, what you want and what they have control over is a couple of things, specific activities. So for example, one of those activities could be making sure that every month you put a certain amount of leads into the system and process them 100%, meaning using your system, your 33 touch. Growing your Met and Haven't Met database, meaning that, so a Met, right? Those 33 touches we just talked about. You could set a goal that every quarter you want to add 50 Mets, 50 people that know you, love you, that would buy and sell real estate with you, that are on your 33 touch program. That they can be successful for. They cannot be successful on the fact of you being lazy, not making your calls, not hitting doing what you need to do, being a terrible at conversion or whatever your problem might be, and then they're not making any money because you're not having closings. Bonus them on the activities that lead to the outcome of what you want. They'll be much more happy because they'll have more control over it. You'll be much more happy because it'll propel you so much faster instead of hoping on the outcome, which is the closing. Does that make sense? Pay is going to depend upon all types of things on your region, right? Some areas it might be 30 grand, some areas it might be 60 grand, some areas it might be more than that. It just depends on the cost of living in your area. Go online, Google the job posts, see all the different offerings that are out there. There's tons of different Wise Hire, Indeed, Craigslist. I've found talent from all of them. The one that we utilize the most is Indeed, but I have found amazing talent from Craigslist, I have found amazing talent from Wise Hire, and I found amazing talent from just posting on social media and letting everyone in my planet know that I'm looking for this person. You got to make sure the whole world knows what you want, and don't do this. Here's where I see the failure all the time. Well, some new agent in my office isn't doing a lot of business. You know what I'm going to do? Let me make them my assistant. No. No, no, no. You have to have a hiring strategy. Think about the skills that you want in an executive assistant. The DISC profile. When you're looking at an executive assistant, you want a high S and a high C. You don't need them to be a high D and a high I. That's hopefully what you are. And if you're a high S, high C, I still don't think it would make sense for you to have a high D, high I executive assistant, because you need someone to be extremely detailed. Details is what you're looking for here. You need to make sure when they're posting a marketing post that there's not, things that are misspelled. You need to make sure that when you tell them something, they're going to go, yes, 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 got it, got it, got it, and not sit there and try to conceptualize things and try to look at all the big picture of things. You got to be careful with this. I'm not saying you can't have a very successful DI, we're talking about the DISC profile here, DI executive assistant. I'm just saying it's what you really want. They'd have to be really good at this, but love focusing on being improving their attention to detail skills and their clerical skills and ability to make sure that you're taken care of instead of sitting there talking at the water cooler for 9 hours. You don't want a high I executive assistant that's sitting in your office, doesn't do any work, and is talking to everyone and going, oh, hey everyone, how's it going? Oh, what's up? Hey, it's Brendan. How you doing? Oh, good. Oh, come over. Hey, how was the weekend? That's an I. We don't want an I in that role. So be careful on the personality styles. It's very difficult to make somebody do things that are not innately in their personality code. Make sure you check that out. Now, there's lots of companies that'll do these tests for you. You can go to Tony Robbins' website. He's got a great DISC profile thing you can do there. Everywhere there's things for doing it, but you'll know. Think about this after you're talking to them and you're having a couple of interview questions with them. Just think about it. Do they seem like a very bubbly, outgoing person? And they're constantly talking. They want to talk to you for hours about this, that, and the other. Are they getting straight to the point? Are they aggressive? You want somebody that balances you. Do you want somebody that's aggressive, being like, every day? No, you want somebody that goes, hey, good morning, Brendan. I've got everything taken care of. Is there anything else I can do to make sure that you're prepared for the day? That's what you want. And they want to be that. They don't want to necessarily be the star out in front and having to talk to clients and do cold calls and sales and open houses. That's not what they want to do, because that doesn't resonate with them, just the same way things don't resonate with you. So make sure you find this pairing. This person will change your life. The book that I recommend before hiring your first assistant is called Rocket Fuel. You want to find your integrator, right? That's what they call it in the book. And if you find this person and you take some time, and they also have a website where you can take this evaluation to see if they're the person that could be the right fit. Check that out. Take some time in doing this. Don't just pick some random person. Leverage is everything. Your first hire should always be your executive assistant. In our coaching, our elite progression series, we talk about what's after that. The next step, all of those things, so you can build your entire real estate team, right? We have a massive team that has TCs, executive assistants, director of ops, ISAs, all of those things, showing assistants, but there's a process to it, and it all starts right here. Find an amazing executive assistant. Take a lot of time in preparing before you hire them. Make sure, and here's the thing, people go, well, I don't have 60 grand or 50 grand to pay an assistant. Remember, you're only paying them so much every month, 5 grand, 4 grand, whatever the number is. So if it doesn't work out and it's not the right fit, unfortunately, you just say goodbye to them. You don't want to do this, but if you do, you're not out 50 grand. Get out of your head. You're out 15 grand if you feel that they're not propelling you to the next level. But it's not their job to do that. It's your job to make sure you find the right person, give them the right standard, schedule, and outcomes, and then grow together. If you do this, I know you'll have great success.